It's actually crazy to say, and even crazy to think, that we're slowly creeping up on the EZA for LR Super Vegito, LR Goku, and Vegeta, which is why this is one of the EZAs that I'm really hoping Dokkan doesn't fumble. And listen, if Dokkan fumbles this EZA, don't blame me, okay? Before I started doing these don't fumble videos, Dokkan has been long fumbling EZA, so I'm just out here trying to release some good energy in the air so that one day, hopefully, you know, Dokkan doesn't fumble these precious EZAs for these precious characters that we really want to see get some respect on their name. And when it comes to this video, shout out to Andrew, shout out to BBT, sorry, 360, and shout out to the Limit Breaker Kid for suggesting Goku and Vegeta here. I have a bunch of other requests and more videos like these coming to you because a lot of other people requested these characters too. So again, a lot of content coming away, but thank you for those who were commenting and suggesting characters. Let's hop into what I want to see for the EZA for LR, STR, Goku and Vegeta, and of course Super Vegito. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about their weaknesses, you know, talk about why they aren't as great as they could be. I mean, I guess, you know, the meta is changing obviously, but then I'm going to hop into the changes that I made, and then I'm going to explain why I did what I did. So first things first, here we have again the base form Goku and Vegeta. In terms of super attack effects, they are definitely not bad. They could definitely be powered up, but at least they're raising defense on both 12 and 18 key, which is, you know, a lot more than some of these characters in Dokkan these days are doing. So I'll definitely take that. Now, unfortunately, 120% defense and 30% damage reduction is not cutting it defensively in today's meta. On top of that, having a medium chance of performing a or launching additional super attack is definitely cool, right? It's better to have it than to not have it. But what you really want, right, the ideal thing is to have a guaranteed additional attack that then has a chance of becoming a super attack, because at least that way you're guaranteed to do extra damage, right? So that's just one weakness this character has in that, you know, I guess this base form, or a few weaknesses. And then when we get to Super Vegito here, Super Vegito, his only main issue, he does enough damage, right? His main issue is his defense. Even with the super attack scouter, this man is getting washed, clapped from almost every boss in the game, even if this guy has type advantage. It's honestly a little sad to see, okay? Super Vegito was not getting clapped up, you know, in the anime the same way he gets clapped up in Dokkan. So we need to see some respect on his name. But when it comes to an EZA for like you know, this character, I don't really see them going all out and giving him some crazy defensive OP buffs, right? So when it comes to their EZA, I think I went a little bit more realistic on this EZA. Maybe I didn't. You can let me know what you think. But let's just hop into what I did. Starting off with the base form, okay? So first thing I changed, as you can probably see, is the super attack effects here. I gave them greatly raising attack and defense on both 12 and 18 key. I don't think that's too much to ask, honestly. And then I made them greatly lower enemies attack on 12, and then greatly lower enemies attack and defense on 18. So just you know, a few extra buffs. If you're in SBR, ESBR, those will definitely come in clutch, especially the lowering attack part on 12 key. So already, even without any passive buffs, they're going to be looking better offensively and defensively because they're raising their attack and defense by 50% instead of, you know, the usual 20-30% that the normal raising gives you. And then when it comes to their passive, I bumped up their 120 to 150% right there. I kept their damage reduction the same, but then I gave them key +1 and defense plus 10% up to 30% per type key sphere obtained. So now, instead of just collecting an extra key per key sphere, they're collecting extra defense per key sphere. So this Goku and Vegeta here are not only going to be greatly raising their attack and defense on either 12 or 18, they're going to have more defense, which means that this damage reduction becomes more potent. Plus, you have an extra 30, a very easy 30% to defense that you're going to be adding onto this character. And then to top it all off, they launch a guaranteed additional that has a high chance of becoming a super. Before, it was just a medium chance of becoming a super. So I definitely think this version of Goku and Frieza, Goku Goku and Vegeta are a lot better. Not by, you know, any insane... I know a lot of people really want to see, you know, 50% damage reduction, which again, I could have definitely done. I just don't think Dokkan will really just give them 50% here. I think them receiving a little bit of extra defense and then changing the condition and stuff on the super attack makes a little bit more sense to me, but you guys can let me know what you think. Plus, again, don't, you know, look over the greatly raising here. This is definitely going to increase their attack and defensive capabilities in any fight. They're not the craziest, you know, before transformation, but they're not really meant to be super OP in this state anyways. And I kept the conditions here pretty much the same. Now let's move on to Super Vegito and what I did for him. And starting off with his super attacks, of course. So just greatly raising attack and defense for one turn. And then on his 18 key, it's still greatly raising attack and defense for one turn. And then disables enemies' action once within the turn. So a little bit of the LR God's ability, where again they just disable enemies' action, but once within the turn. I think giving him that can definitely save this Vegito from getting attacked too many times after he attacks, right? And then we get into his passive here. So I increased the 50% to 60%. And I gave him and guards all attacks for one turn after fusing. This may remind you of two different things. One of, again, the LR Gods, pull some inspiration from them. Once they literally guard for one turn upon entering the turn. So I wanted Vegito to have something like that just to set him up for a little bit. But also, into UI Goku has a really powerful ability where the moment he transforms, he dodges all attacks for that one turn after awakening. So I wanted to give him something like that as soon as just to welcome him into the field, right? As soon as Super Vegito comes through, he's getting 60% HP instead of 50%, and it is guaranteed guarding for that one turn. I remember and seen a lot of people use this character, transform with him to see where the super attacks are, and then refresh the app, right? Because you don't walk this character out with all the damage he's about to take. But I feel like with the guarding here, you don't really have to run into that issue again, at least for that one turn, to make sure everything is set up, and you know you're basically going to be good to go. So 60% HP and guarding, and then I kept the 180%. Actually, no, wait, what was it before? It was 150, right? Yeah, so I bumped the 150 up to 180% to attack and defense, and kept the medium chance to crit pretty much the same. I could have increased to high, but I felt like high would have been a little, slightly over the edge too OP, slightly over the edge. So I'm keeping it at medium for now. And then I gave him damage reduction of 20%, so less than obviously his base form here, because remember Vegito. Like before anything, this guy had 30% and this Vegito had absolutely nothing. So I'm giving this Vegito here 20% to damage reduction, but I'm also giving him damage received from normal attacks minus 20%, and then counters them with tremendous power. So not only is he just obviously countering normals, but he's also reducing the amount of damage he receives from normals. So remember, this Vegito took a lot of damage from normal attacks. I remember him getting absolutely railed from a lot of bosses when it comes to normal attack. So now from any normal attack, he's going to be reducing that damage by 40%, and then of course countering that. I think that's going to make him really, really powerful, especially on that turn that he's guarding. When he pops out and he's guarding, he's not taking damage, I think, from any normal attacks, right? And then we do have plus an additional key +1 and defense plus 10% up to 30% per key sphere obtained. So I pretty much kept that the exact same from his previous non-fusing state. So you're basically getting up to what, 210% defense. I think this is a multiplicative buff, so it could be a little bit higher than 210% on top of guarding for that one turn, on top of 40% damage reduction, 20% for everything, and an extra 20% just for normals. And then key +8 instead of key +5. Nothing too crazy, right? Nothing, just gave him a little bit of extra key, not Kree. And then foresees enemy super attacks for 10 turns from the start of turn. That is it for what I gave this Vegito. So part of me really feels like I went slightly not underboard. that I didn't give him everything he deserved. But another part of me is like, okay, when you really factor in the greatly raising, again, do not underestimate the power of greatly raising. And if he performs 2 super attacks, the attack stats and the damage, they're going to be very, very, very powerful. And keep in mind that he's a countering unit, right? That's why I didn't give him any additionals in his kit, because he's already doing a lot of damage. You put him in that, countering characters, to me, at least in my opinion, yeah, maybe you feel differently, but countering characters are meant to either be in slot 1 or where all the attacks are basically being focused. And for me, that's usually in slot 1 or sometimes in slot 3, right? So in slot 1, when you want to have this character, you need them to be good defensively. So I feel like that guard, I know it's one, I was really thinking about making it 3 turns, but I was like, maybe that's a little bit too OP. I don't know. What do you guys think? What would you buff here? What would you change? I like this DZA. I would personally be very happy if I saw, you know, Vegito get something like this. But I can see the argument for 3 turns, right? I can see the argument for maybe 200% to stats here. I can definitely see that argument. I think Vegito definitely deserves that buff. And you guys, again, let me know what you think. Let me know if I didn't give him the justice that you think he deserves. But honestly, don't even tell me that. Just tell me what you would change. Tell me what you would add. Tell me, you know, all this type of stuff. It's just a conversation at the end of the day. So hopefully you enjoyed. I'm moving on to record more of these types of videos for you. So thank you for the love and support. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace.